All right, ladies and gentlemen, this lesson is a discovery lesson. So I'm just teaching you what you're going to be doing, and then you will go ahead and fill this out. And after you fill this out, then you can submit it and then work on the quizzes that will help you practice what you learned. So the question says, graph the following. It gives you the original graph of f of x equals x squared. And as we start moving this graph, we want to describe the changes to the original graph. So I'll do the first one with you, the first few with you, and then I'll have you go ahead and discover on your own. So we already know what this graph is going to look like, but let's go ahead and see how we can use Desmos. So we're going to go to www.desmos.com. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Desmos.com, and I'm going to use the graphing calculator option. And then I'm going to type in x squared. And if you see this little keyboard down here, this gives you a lot of different operations that you can use for different functions. So you'll need that, keep that in mind. But I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, what does x squared look like? There's my original graph. We call that the parent graph. And then if I just press enter, I can put in a new graph. So if I look back at my discovery notes, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'm taking this function and adding to it. So remember, f of x represents the output. Oops. The output is x squared. So really, I'm graphing x squared plus 2 into the second graph. So in my notes, I'm going to go ahead and say x squared plus 2 and see what happens. And I can see the entire graph moved up 2 units. So in my discovery notes, I'm going to go ahead and say what happened to the graph. It moved up 2 units. So hopefully that makes sense. And then what I would do after that is, like for the next one, we're seeing what happens if you add 4. So just change the graph that you're moving, see how does it change, but keep the original graph, the x squared. So as I look at that, I can see, oh, that moved up 4 units. One of the things that I found people are sometimes thrown off by is notation like this one down here. So as a quick reminder, be careful of your function notation. X plus 2 represents that this is now your input. So actually what I'm going to be graphing here, this is equivalent to taking this as my input for the function. So I'm taking a look at what happens when I take quantity x plus 2 squared. And I'll just go ahead and show you what that should look like. So we have, instead, I'm going to put parentheses, oops, x plus 2 squared. And I'll go ahead and use that button. And I can see, oh my goodness, the graph moved left 2 units. And so I can go ahead and say, well, it's moved to the left. Well, moved left 2 units. Okay, what I would do right now is pause the video. You want to make sure that you fill out the rest of these pieces, and then we'll come back together and fill this piece out at the bottom. I have no way of pausing the video, but if you can, I would pause it, because now I'm going to go ahead and show you the answers, but it's best learned if you discover it yourself, and then I'll show you the general rules. And nope. 2 by 2. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'm actually going to do a new video, show you what you should have had, and then we'll do the bottom one.